Welcome back to the channel. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning here. I've owned quite a few Mercedes. It's been a love-hate relationship. I've had 5 total so far. 3 of them have been on the channel. That I know of. The S500, the S430, and the AMG GT for sure. I wouldn't like to do a fun video today because every time I've had those vehicles on the channel, it has struck up some excellent conversations. You either love or hate Mercedes, not too many indifferent. Today I want to do a fun video revealing Mercedes that I would buy, Mercedes I would stay away from. So we'll have a split. We'll do a buy, stay away from, buy, stay away from. And we'll probably mention 4 or 5 different types of Mercedes that I would buy and stay away from in a certain class. So let's have some fun. Feel free to add some down in the comment section if you thought that I missed some, or if you agree, or if you disagree, as long as we can keep the conversation civil. Go ahead. I love to read your comments down in the comment section. Okay, let's start with which one that I would lean towards buying, and we'll do years. I'll try to zero in on the best years and models for this as well, and that's going to be the 2008 SL550. The 08 SL550 had a 5.5 liter V8, 382 horsepower, 391 foot-pounds, paired with a 7-speed automatic transmission. A sleek sports car. That's the one with the 2 round headlights in the front on either side. That had a fun, powerful engine. It had a more reliable engine because this was after the timing chain issues. The top was a hard top with many moving parts, and they seemed to get a little bit of a better handle on the system moving those parts, so they were a little bit more reliable. More user-friendly infotainment center for that year. And interior. The interior buttons and components, because of the top being down all the time, even the material on the seats, did just a little bit better than other vehicles in that year, that group, that model. So I would definitely recommend the 08 SL550. Okay, now let's switch over to do not buy, stay away from, or rather, if you see one, turn around and run like hell. That's going to be the 02 to 07 SL500. The R230s, 2-seater with a 5.0 liter V8, 302 horsepower, 5-speed automatic transmission, weighing it at 4,100 pounds. They had hardtop issues. It was hydraulically driven, so you had leaks, you had failures. There were a lot of moving components within the convertible top, and they failed all the time. You're looking at an average of about $2,500 to fix the pump, the issues, the lines, the leaks. Good luck with that. Suspension issues, electrical gremlins, windows not going up and down, instrument clusters, you name it, electrical issues, cooling issues, water pump failure, and then that could lead to, of course, head gaskets. And if you, it overheats multiple times, depending on how it overheats, you could have some head warping issues. The transmission, solenoid, transmission hard shifting, just overall sluggish transmission and shifting. And then, of course, rust issues around the wheel wells, rocker panels, lower doors, around the lower door areas. You could see some bubbling. It starts off with the bubbling, and it does, once it starts, it doesn't take long with that sheet metal that they use to go all the way through, and you have some serious issues. If you're going to look at one, take a mat and a flashlight and really get up under there, especially that year, and check the suspension parts, check the rocker panels, check the unibody, and then the sheet metal underneath the body. multiple rust issues with, especially in the Northeast here. I can't stress that enough. People in the Northeast do not want to get stuck in their houses. If it snows and it's not cleared 20 minutes after it snows, no matter how much we get, they are on the line with our PennDOT. So in response to that, they salt the living hell out of all the roads with a salt brine mixture and then all kinds of other garbage mixed in. And obviously, it's going to cause rust issues underneath these vehicles because there's no preventative under a lot of these vehicles in most areas underneath there. Okay, let's switch over to something I would recommend. Let's go to the C Series. So the 08 to 14 C300. With the C300, you're looking at a 3.0 liter V6, 228 horsepower, 221 foot-pounds, with a 7-speed automatic transmission or 6-speed manual. These had the better engine. I'm going to never say reliable and Mercedes in the same sentence, but I guess I just did, didn't I? Maybe a little bit more reliable than others, for sure. The transmissions were a little bit better as well. The interiors were a little bit better quality. It seemed like the material held up just a little bit more. A solid build quality inside and out from what I remember. Guys, comfortable ride. Not only the suspension and the handling, but also the seating position and just the overall position in the driver's cabin was very, very comfortable. And Mercedes has problems with holding value. They depreciate quickly depending on the year and model. But that one there held its value just a little bit better than a lot of the other ones out there. Let's switch over to stay away from and do not buy, and that is going to be the 2000 to 2007 C230. The C230 features a 2.5 liter V6 producing 201 horsepower, 181 foot-pounds with a 7-speed automatic transmission. And that was like, I guess, more of an entry-level Mercedes. The build quality, bad interiors. It seemed like the build quality inside and out was just garbage. Turbo issues. Again, you guys know that I love naturally aspirated engines. I don't like when things are under load with superchargers and turbos. Man, you're just asking for problems. Yeah, fun, very fun. It kicks your head back into the seat. You get sucked back into the seat when you hit that accelerator. But to me, I'd rather have less issues, and some of the naturally aspirated engines are quite impressive. Cost to fix your bill when you take these to a shop, and it's normally going to be a dealership or a specialized mechanic, if it's not a dealership that works on Mercedes, and it's going to be costly. Electrical issues, windows going up and down from what I remember, instrument cluster, anything in the dash area, electrical gremlins were just a headache. And just, they're not fun or easy to find, and they can be expensive to chase down as well. Transmissions, control modules, stiff, jerky shifting, slow and sluggish transmission. Definitely issues there, and that's not a cheap fix. Suspension issues, timing chain issues. These things had a lot of problems, more problems, and they stack up quickly. Just stay away from the damn thing. And this is another one that had problems with rust. Every time I go to check out these on a lot, an auction lot, and I get underneath there with my light, rear wells, mostly the rear, sometimes in the front, down around the corner panels, down around below the doors, and the lower parts of the doors where that sheet metal folds up around, it seems to like to hold moisture, guys. And it starts, like I mentioned before, once it starts to bubble, if you see it bubble at all, address the issue and get the rust taken care of, because it takes off quickly from there, gets out of hand, and then you're in some serious trouble, and the car isn't worth diddly after that. Let's move on over to the E-Series. So an E-Series I guess I would recommend would be the E500, and that would be 03 to 06. This one had a big old 5.0 V8, 302 horsepower, 339 foot-pounds with a 7-speed automatic trans. Better engines, better transmissions, pretty damn good engine. Better interiors. It seemed like overall build quality, a better ride, suspension, feel, comfort. Again, I just can't put reliable and Mercedes in the same sentence, but I guess I just did it again, didn't I? It would be the more reliable in the E-Series. So let's just slide over to the E550, which would be one I would stay away from, run like hell, let somebody else buy it, and pick up the headache. 07 to 09 in particular. The troublesome 5.5 liter V8, 382 horsepower, 391 foot-pounds of torque with the 7-speed auto trans. That's where the engine issues and the cost to take care of these are incredible. That's when they had the timing chain issues. They did eventually catch what was failing and straighten it out a little bit. A new motor and 7K higher when you could find one because they were in demand because so many were failing. Suspension issues, body control, and any issue with suspension is not going to be cheap to fix. Electrical malfunctions and gremlins, again, with the windows and the dash and the instrument clusters. Electrical issues sometimes will not break the bank, but it's chasing them to find out what's wrong. Giving you an example, we'll use a Honda for an example that I just recently had this issue. I parked the car, it worked fine, went in to grab something in the store, came back out, turned the key, and I didn't have certain instrument clusters coming to life. It would turn over, but it wouldn't start. And it also wouldn't let me take the shifter out of park. It was locked in there. So that was an instrument cluster control module that I had to chase down. And it's not fun. Nothing underneath the dash is fun to take apart, check your connections, checking your wire harnesses. That is a headache to me. And I would just avoid it completely with the E550. Also, fuel pumps, injectors, cooling system problems, rust again with the wheel wells, lower doors, under the rockers. I would just stay away from the damn thing altogether. Let's do one more class, the S-Class. You've seen two S-Classes on the channel. One of mine was the S500, another one was the S430. And I've had Mercedes that fell both in the highly recommend and do not buy, stay away from. And I'll explain that when I get to this. So first, let's go to one that I recommend. That's going to be the S550. This one here was powered by the 4.7 liter V8, 429 horsepower, 516 foot-pounds with a 7-speed automatic trans. Better engine, more reliable, and I'll put quotes around that reliable word. Very comfortable, very classy. The interiors, to me, nothing beats that S-Class interior. You have your lighting, you have just the speaker grills, beautiful design speaker grills. At that time, 09, after 08, those timing issues were addressed, so it was a little bit less of an issue. So things were just a little bit more reliable. The transmissions were a little bit more reliable. It was a damn smooth and quiet ride. Absolutely like sitting in your living room to drive down. Being in that cabin for a long period of time, say you took it on a trip, a business trip, 6 hours, 8 hours, that would go by no problem at all because it was so comfortable. Just the overall build quality inside and out, and just a timeless classic look. So definitely highly recommend the S550. Now let's go to one that I would say stay away from, and I owned. It was actually on the channel, and that is going to be the S430, and that was 1998 to 03. Mine was a 2000. The S430 rear-wheel drive 4.3 liter V8, 275 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds with a 5-speed automatic transmission. Mine just was turning 100,000 miles. The problem with these, suspension issues, the air ride. Huge headache. I bought mine because the suspension was just recently gone over the compressor and all the lines, and that was fine. Electrical issues and gremlins, electrical problems with windows and instrument clusters and dash issues and lights and you name it. Had some serious problems there, headlights and tail lights and parking lights. Fuel pump issues, injectors, definitely a problem there. I didn't have mine very long. I didn't have any issues when I got it, or I sold it. When I sold it, it was in great shape, and I think it's still out there running around. Beautiful car to look at, excellent ride, nice interior for the year. Rust issues with that one as well. Wheel wells, lower rockers, lower doors. If you're going to look at one, take a mat to lay down on and a bright light, get under there and just look at everything, suspension, unibody, all the sheet metal underneath there, and make sure it's not rusted through. Guys, that's going to do it for this list. So fun for me to go over these with you. If you want to add anything to the list, either to the buy or stay the hell away from, feel free. Again, as long as we can keep it friendly and civil, I love to read your suggestions. Put them down in the comment section. This has been Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. I'll catch you in the next fun video.